Who?
Every mother.
Who is Banksy?
Now, there's many theories been flying about. Why? Now,
I wrote this down in my
Last
notes. Last week. Actually, I think it was... Yeah, well, I thought about it a while back. And why did I think that? Because I was trying to think...
Because you big poo-poo brain.
Yeah. I was trying to think... I think it probably was that when that guy stole the sign.
Yes.
Yeah.
In Peckham.
I was trying to think who would be...
For those who don't know...
Yeah.
Who might be international.
Yeah.
Banksy is a very famous street artist.
I think actually...
I think
Banksy might be
everyone
one of the
knows.
most famous...
Yeah. You think so?
Yeah.
But he's English. Well, who would
be the funniest person?
Recently, he did one on a Peckham street sign or something, and there's a video of someone just walked up in broad daylight when loads of people were looking, and just nicked it. There's a video of him just going like, and then just walking off. It's pretty fucking cool. It's like, how are you planning on like selling that as well? Anyway,
I was trying to think who's
The
the
black
funniest
market?
person to be Banksy, and I was, how would you feel genuinely if it came out that I was Banksy?
so we're going to ignore the kind of age impossibilities.
It was not impossible.
Then it is.
No, I'd just be very young.
No, when was his first one? We're going to have to look that up. No, very young. You could have been like... There's a chance you weren't born.
1997, I don't know.
When was Banksy's first discovery, I guess? First... Yeah, 1993. So you're going to ask me that question again?
Yeah, I'm going to say, what about the second half, the last 15 years of Banksy have been me.
Right, so you took over the reign, the mantle from someone else.
From Mr. Creed.
It's the perfect cover. So you're actually him.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any world. If we're being serious, I'd never believe you. You could never convince me that you were Banksy.
But it's
ever.
true.
I know.
And I convince you.
But you can't convince me.
No, what I do. This is the hypothetical.
Okay, then I'm convinced.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you asking? I suppose my emotions to it.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd feel betrayal because I'd be like, you got to keep it pretty tight.
I'd feel quite betrayed if you were Banksy. I'd start to question a lot of things.
You'd be like, couldn't you just... I'd question a lot of things.
I think it would start to make you really question reality quite a lot and the kind of lies you've been told, because there's a lot of stuff wouldn't add up, and it would.
What would it add up if I was Banksy?
It would be like,
when did you find the time?
When did you do that?
15 years.
I remember that one.
Yeah, that was.
How did he? I've been like a.
Well,
I've known him
Banksy
for a
doesn't.
long time.
Banksy
How
doesn't.
did he manage to...
Banksy or I don't exactly do my artwork in sociable hours, do I?
Now, imagine if Banksy was like Michael Gove. Is there anyone it could be that it just completely starts to undermine
the work? Christopher Biggins.
It's quite a lot. Big O,
I know you've got a weird soft spot just because you met him once.
No, I don't know. I feel like he's eccentric. You could still pass it
I think
on.
it would. No, he does too much panto. It would undermine the work.
Yeah, but I mean, if he works in the Tory cabinet and is a very establishment figure, I feel.
But I could see that happening.
Like a Dr. Jekyll,
it's
Mr. Hyde
like
sort of vibe.
like a weird Batman situation going on.
Yeah.
And that was who else? Philip Schofield.
That would be a great comeback.
It would be. He'd be like, but. Yeah, while he's crying,
he's
crying and vaping, being like, "I am Banksy, by the way."
Yeah.
So
this is the time to come out.
It's a great time to come out as Banksy.
Well, they think they've got the actual guy. He's the guy in Massive Attack or something.
No, not Massive Attack. Something else. Maybe. It might be Massive Attack. But yes, it is.
It's that geezer.
Not like Radiohead.
But Banksy is kind of a loser, isn't he?
Well, that's an interesting take.
Do you know what I mean? Because that, like, it is kind of like, I guess it was cool when they first started.
It's iconic.
Yeah, but it is kind of like. It's fucking.
Oh, what, you're making more points about society? The rat race.
It is a bit fucking.
Nowadays, it is.
It's gauche now.
It's gauche nowadays.
I don't think the first geezers to do it, but it's.
But that's like that's like criticizing Donny Osmond's 2023 tour when back in the day he's a classic. He's like a world-inspiring artist. That was a joke, by the way. Don't take it so seriously.
It's a good example.
No, it's not.
It is, because I just wonder, like...
Donny Osmond was never...
Well, you wouldn't consider Donny Osmond cool?
No, but Donny Osmond didn't change the face of music, or he didn't provide a new thing in music.
So it's not a good example, then?
No, it's not a good example.
Okay.
Something like a musician who's still touring.
What was the recent? What was the recent Peckham?
The Rolling Stones new. It's like Rolling Stones' new album. It's like being like that's their lame because they're still rocking in their 70s.
Okay.
When
Yeah,
they
they're not
changed
lame.
the game.
Yeah.
You see. Let him still do his thing. He wants to go and paint like balloons and rats on street signs. Just let
What was the last
just
bit
let
of
him
art he
keep
did?
going.
What was the last? So the last one was the signpost. What was the message on that?
The bit I
So
don't know.
I think it was because it was a signpost that had a big red X through it.
Which way are we going?
He put in that signpost in the red X. He
Yeah.
did, I think, missiles, which kind of I think what he was trying to say there was no missiles. It's bad. I think that was what.
Are we sure that was even
Yeah.
Banksy? That sounds like
And it is
just
interesting
a
artistically.
curious drawer.
I guess what's weird about Banksy's art is that when you analyze art, there's normally a debate or a sort of idea.
What does it mean?
Yeah,
It's
what
not
does it
much
mean?
there, yeah.
You can't really.
It's not
debate
exactly
Banksy.
subtle, is it?
There's no like readings of it.
Yeah.
There's no second. It's always There's that one where the couple are kissing,
Yeah.
but they're looking at their phones while they're kissing.
Yeah, what do you reckon that's about?
That's what's funny. Is this sort of?
Yeah.
My dad had a Banksy, which is so stupid that he's got this.
It's so him.
Do you remember this one? It was
Where?
it was in his old.
I think so, yeah.
It was when
yeah.
homeless guy.
Yeah.
And he's
Oh, yeah.
he's got a sign.
That wasn't real, was it?
No, it was just a print. Keep your
When you said my dad has a Banksy.
Keep your cash. I want change. What's going on there?
Yeah, what is?
Dad, what's going through your mind when you got that?
Yeah, I think it's the too often the onus is placed on the individual to help out other individuals when we need broader societal change, isn't it? But then I don't think anyone can argue that that's the point.
Yeah.
But the big thing that he did, I think it was almost his last hurrah in a way.
Well,
Now
the last time he was properly relevant, almost.
Yeah. It's always going to be in the news, but it's becoming less.
Yeah.
Well, no, to be fair,
Yeah.
he did a kind of cool thing. I think this was Banksy.
Yeah.
There was one, and that was kind of recently, or it was ages ago. Shredding.
Yeah,
That was cool.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah.
He did the thing that was like, I guess.
He would be he'd be annoying, right?
Yeah.
You know, he's not
He's not fun at parties.
Yeah, and I bet he doesn't shut the fuck up. Do you know what I mean? Once he gets going.
I don't know.
I think he's that kind of guy who's out the limelight, does that stuff, but once you get talking to him, he will not shut the fuck up.
That's probably true. He's got a lot of opinions. He's got a lot of opinions. But no, the other thing he did was exit through the gift shop. Do you remember that big? It wasn't Banksy. This is what it kind of ruined it in a way for me a little bit. But it was a massive fairground.
Well, that was actually, I think that was called Dismal Land.
Oh,
They called it Dismal Land.
Abysmal Land.
It was a play on Disneyland.
What's exit through the gift shop?
And then I think maybe that's linked in there. Or he's got like a Banksy hotel. And there's this amazing one.
Oh, it's a film about Banksy, exit through the gift shop.
Yes. Oh yeah. So Dismal Land. Type in Banksy Dismal Land.
Yeah, Dismal Land.
Instead of Disneyland. That's what the
that's something that we'd come up with as a joke immediately.
So Dismal Land, and there was one of the pieces in there so that he used all Disney characters.
Dismaland.
But to represent real life things. I think one is the Diana.
Dismaland.
Diana.
Dismal Land. You're right. Sorry.
Dismal Land. What's
Dismal
going
Land.
on there?
It's real bad. It's like Disneyland but bad, you know?
Yeah, and there's one where Mickey Mouse is Diana and she's crashed, and there's lots of other and there's lots of other Mickey Mouses taking photos.
Why you bring it was 2015. Why you bring Diana up?
But it's about paparazzi.
No, but that's one bit. But you think
that's what the point of the piece was. It's a Banksy. There's not. Don't say there's one bit. It's a Banksy. There's only ever one point.
It was a theme park.
Yes. Sorry.
So there wasn't one bit.
I thought you were saying that's one part of the
No. There was
There's
a theme
never
park.
a second part.
It was you'd go and you'd go around.
That was one of the.
It was like an exhibition,
yes.
but surely, then people know who he is. Well, I guess you can do it through someone. I don't actually. The thing is, because he does so many. I don't really care. And I think he's never going to be revealed because it would be a disaster to reveal. Because
no point.
Unless it's like King Charles.
Amazing.
Then you're like, all right.
I mean, that's fucking awesome.
Oh, it'd be unbelievable.
If that's King Charles, it'd
be the coolest thing in the world.
Play.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pro monarchy.
Imagine the monarchy. Yeah, I'm pro monarchy after that.
That's fucking awesome.
I think he should just come out and say it. What I'd love to do is come out and say, if I was famous enough, come out and say, I'm Banksy. And then see if the real Banksy
says,
And then everyone went, aha! Got ya!
Yeah.
Got ya, Banksy.
What, is he in the audience when you say it?
Yeah, it's like in the second Batman when he gives himself in. When Harvey Dent goes, I am the Batman, and they take him in.
Oh, I see, because you're trying to defend the symbol?
I'm trying to defend... No, it's not like that. Okay. There's none of the motifs or lessons. It's purely, I'm just trying to goat him into him being... I want his pride to take over and go, actually, I don't want this chump taking my shine, my sunshine.
Do you think you could do Banksy's if you put your mind to it?
I think I could do... you know what my drawing skills are like, so
Not the best.
No.
But he's using stencils.
I could.
But I mean, could you come up with the...
Give me a day.
Do you reckon?
Yeah. 100%.
Right,
I'll come up with one for the next podcast.
Do you want to give me a topic?
Economic inequality.
And give me...
I'll give you an easy one.
No, but so economic inequality, but then also you have to give me another thing that I have to meld together. So like is it people? Is it going to the bus? What is it? Like
people?
Is it two
people?
Is it two people kissing? What's...
Oh, no. So what's the kind of... It's the subject of the thing. Well, I was going to... It's economic inequality.
That's the topic I'm tackling.
And then like...
What do I have to tell this
like
story?
kind of the aesthetic, or then like a...
First thing that comes to your head.
2 children.
2 children. All right. Well, I'd have 1 child. Yeah.
Massive.
I would have... Oh, no, I'll tell you what I'd do. I'd have 2 kids. Yeah. All right, get this.
Yeah.
I'd have 2 kids.
I'm liking it already.
Yeah. One of them opening up a big present. It's Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got car keys. He's got like he's got a PlayStation 5.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then another kid, poor kid, he's got like holes in his clothes and stuff.
Yeah.
He opens up his box. He's got a thing of coal in it.
Yeah.
The kid with the PS5.
How about
PS5 says,
a used condom?
Fine.
Yeah. Let's make it a bit more. Let's zhuzh it up a bit.
Yeah. So he's got a used condom. The other one's got a PS5.
Yeah.
The kid with the PS5 goes, "Oh,
I wanted a PS6.
I wanted a PS6." And the kid with the used condom says,
goes, thanks,
you.
Daddy.
This is the nicest
now I can
thing.
swallow and forget that bit. Sorry.
This is the nicest thing anyone's ever got me.
Yeah. Well, I know it's really hard in your job, and you work really hard, and you don't get much money.
In about 45 seconds, and that's not.
It's
not too bad. Like, take out the used condom.
In fairness to Banksy, he doesn't use speech marks.
No.
He doesn't have speech bubbles, because I think that kind of defeats the purpose of art. This kind of art, if you're like, "Wow, thanks, Daddy," explaining what's going on.
I guess you could show
Maybe
that.
I like the idea if you have a massive box and like.
No, you could do it with expressions. Here's an actual Banksy. PS5, disappointed, and then lump of coal, ecstatic.
Yeah, use condom, but yeah.
That's not too far off. It's not too far off.
Is a used condom the worst present a child could receive?
Let me give you a Banksy.
Is a used condom the worst present a child could receive? Because I think it is.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything worse.
Well, what I like about you, so you're an uncle. And
something that you can open.
You're giving it to Mrs. Kids, and I imagine it's you 20 minutes before you realise you haven't got them a present.
So I quickly go in my wallet.
No, you're like, fuck. Because that's like a classic shtick as well.
Yeah.
Like, guy who forgot present finds something.
Yeah, like sticks. Sticks like a hat on this elephant.
What's so funny about that is it's like choosing something that's like so much worse
that it's
than nothing.
Worse than nothing, yeah.
So much.
Just say, sorry, I forgot.
It's so...
In the toilet. Excuse me, where's your toilet? Getting a condom out of your wallet, just running to the toilet. My goodness, it's the worst gift a child could receive, without a doubt. It's so much worse than nothing. Yeah.
Right, let me give you a Banksy.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the issue is gonna be climate change,
sure.
Right? And the subject has to be. A lollipop lady.
Okay.
Like a
Yeah.
Or a traffic warden. Traffic warden climate change.
Yeah, okay. There's a traffic warden stood in the middle of a 4-way junction.
Okay, that's good.
The three junctions. Yeah. This is great. This is great. There's the three of the junctions have cars speeding through, crashing into each other. There is one junction that she's stopping. The name of that junction is...
Change? Or like
the name of that junction is sustainability. And the other ones are greed, Greed. Greed
Power, money.
Greed might encompass too much of it, actually.
Yeah.
So it might have to be like, money. Money. Wait, hold on. But how about greed?
Yeah.
We could get like, no, there could be like greed.
But are you allowed to use words in them? You know, it should be implied.
Well, you had speech marks.
No, but we took it out.
Well, no, hold on. So let's
you don't
workshop
need-
the initial.
You don't need the words.
Okay.
You can imply it.
So the guy and you have fat guys leaning out the cars with top hats, and then like starving people, but and
Where
their
are they
car
from?
and their
Where
cars.
are the kids from?
They're from Africa.
They are.
And their cars are flooding as seawater rises.
Yeah, because there's inequality in who has to deal with the effects of climate change.
Yeah. But then the warden's like, stop to them because what's
cats
more
go through.
important that the fat cats go through, but because we're stopping that and we're ignoring what's going on over there, they're crashing into each other and they're ruining everything. That's
It's
fucking
powerful.
Banksy.
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
So that's what I mean, is that you can shit out a Banksy.
We've just done two,
Those are not terrible.
which people might be like, oh,
They're not terrible.
I think-
they're not as good as his, but that took us.
that
was off the fly.
I think if both of those came up as new Banksies,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be that big a news story. It wouldn't be like I think they'll be like in more,
Because he's already getting a lot of shtick for
Yeah.
being kind of hack.
Yeah,
you know?
I think in other corners there might be a bit more like he might have lost his touch a bit. I think particularly the present one is a bit.
What do you mean?
No, maybe
The present one's more simple. Your one's more convoluted.
We're on the same team. I take it back. They're both equally great, but there would be like I think in some corners it would be like he's lost his touch, but I think the majority of people will be like, that's Banksy.
Yeah. It's quite amazing actually that was just off the fly, and it really is not that.
It's
hard.
really not that hard, yeah. Because I was worried because you did it pretty quickly. I was like, am I going to be able to do this? I was like, oh yeah, no, this is really quite simple actually when you think about it. Speaking of heroism,
Great.
there is I've had a lot of thoughts about what it is to be a hero in the modern world. When you see, what is a hero?
Do you want me to answer that? Or is that
No,
rhetorical?
I'm just.
dramatic?
That's the start of my presentation.
sorry.
You're not going to talk for a while.
And I'm like loudly thinking, I got this.
No, sir, just please, just one moment. I'm about to. I'm doing something.
Oh no, I got it.
So a lot of a modern day hero is often, it's someone who you'll see
The Kardashians.
the Kardashians.
In today's society.
What heroism equals big butts.
Yeah.
Just be will I kill myself? A real hero. Well, so you see heroes who will be like, it's a similar fantasy that I'm talking about with returning a cat to its owner, but it's more like a viral video where you see a man walking down the street and then there's a child drowning in the nearby canal and he jumps in and saves them. There's the man who is on the tube and there is someone sexually assaulting or at least shouting, harassing. That's
harassing.
Assaulting. That's an entirely different thing. Sexually harassing a woman. The man says, "Hey, you stop it!" Right?
Yeah.
There's all of these things. So. It's
And
more,
then starts sexually harassing the woman.
and then he joins it.
No, he goes, stop it, get out, and then he starts saying.
And then he's like, well, you could have covered up a bit, couldn't you?
Yeah, then he starts hitting on her. Anyway,
Yeah.
hero.
That's fun. Hero.
Sorry, where are you
who says you can't do both?
It's like, this guy's pretty good hero. You'd probably want to fuck this hero, right?
Yeah, he sounds like a cool guy.
This at least deserves a blowjob.
So you see these heroes, you see these viral videos, like, good, well on you, stood up. You save some ducklings from there, or it's like you grab someone in the spur of the moment thing. Let's focus on the tube one,
Please.
Stopping the sexual harassment. Now, in all of these videos, I'm like, yeah, I'd fucking do that. Of course, I'd do that. I'm a reasonable human being. I care about fellow man. I'd absolutely step in. I'd absolutely love to help. The problem is, I think real heroism is getting out of the feeling of traveling somewhere. Because if something's happening on the tube, I know that sounds mental, but let me get there. Yeah. If you're on the tube, I am. Don't try and do the maths because it won't add up before some explanation in the middle. If I'm on the tube or if I'm on a bus or wherever you are and you're traveling somewhere, you don't want to fucking talk to anyone. You don't want to engage with anything. You just want to get from A to B. All you're thinking about is this journey's go.
You're thinking about number one.
I'm on a journey. Yeah. I'm on a journey. I'm listening to whatever I'm listening to on my headphones.
Journey.
I don't care. It's only Journey. I think the reason I hate Journey so much is because I just can't stop thinking about it when I'm on them. On my way. On my way. Just listen to a song that's not about journeys, Andrew. No! So, during this...
I was thinking that song, that Glee song by the band Journey.
Yeah, I know. I added to it, you freak. So I'm chuggling along on the tube like that.
He's not holding on to anything. It's a weird. He just goes hand above his head. You're sitting down.
Yeah. Sitting down. Everyone move to the next carriage. Or car, actually. Trains are called cars, not carriages. I watched The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3 not that long ago. Good film. So I'm... Yeah.
Original Christian Bale one.
Is there a Christian Bale one?
Like a modern one.
What?
There's like one in like.
It's got John Travolta. The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. I don't think there's an original one.
Oh, there's one in the 60s.
Is there? Okay.
So not Christian Bale.
I feel like we're getting sidetracked.
Anyway.
So let's do the.
How many Pelhams were there?
Let's do the. No, none. One, only one.
So 1 to 2 and 3. I need to see this film.
It was the train cart number that designated a specific train. So it could have been 256, and there'd only be one.
Which wasn't.
But was never to be. So there was. My biggest barrier.
Yeah.
To getting involved on, like, let's say some kids are shouting up and down the tube, and they're like,
they got a granny up by her. They're shaking all the cash
so
out.
I was talking about this. So there's a line,
ankles.
right? Let me just get my point, and then we can discuss it. Because there's a line. So obviously, if there's someone's mouthing off to someone who shouldn't be, it's like the biggest impediment to it is like, oh, fucking hell. It's like, it's more of a lethargicness. It's not like out of fear. It's more just like, I just want to get to where I'm going in peace. Real heroes are the people that go, I'm going to get involved. They get out of that lethargy. They go like, let's attack this day. I'm going to do that. Heroism is not about bravery in the modern world. It's about getting out of the fucking, I can't really be bothered to do this anymore.
So what's the thing about the journey thing?
That's because when I'm on a journey, it's not when I'm watching this video at home and I'm like, I'm like, at home, I'm like, yeah, of course I'd step in.
Yeah.
When you're out in the world, it's like, I can't fucking hell. I just want to get to where I'm going. So the thing about that also is, well, I think that's more about putting it on you. But there's one, like, if kids are mouthing off, or like they're being too loud, because Adam was telling me about, there were these kids on the tube that were, throwing things at each other, just being really fucking loud, getting in people's way or whatever. And then one guy was like, shouted eventually, like, can you shut the fuck up, etc. My thing about that was, it's a risk I wouldn't bother taking.
What, they all start shanking you?
The kids.
Immediately? Like all 6 of them just...
Not that, just getting on their radar.
Yeah.
I don't have, like, if I'm on this tube for more than like 3 stops, I can't be bothered for them being like coming up at me, being like, "Oh, you dickhead!"
Cut to you're getting swirlied, and you're like, "This is
and I'm just like, why have I done
this? Is humiliating."
But even but it's just the inconvenience, isn't it? Of just like these being on these kids' radar.
Yeah.
Because I'm very much a let it go. Who fucking cares? Because there was this group of kids on the weekend. One of them, as they were walking towards Elle and I, and one of them just kind of jumped up at Elle and like went, "Ugh." Idiot, stupid. It really made her jump, and she got pissed off. She's got a streak thing in her where she'll see red, and she suddenly goes a bit roadman because she went to Brit school around that area.
Yeah, Brit school.
No. The
gangs at
Brit school. No, apparently everyone like that towards the Brit school, which is quite funny. But then so she's like, so she shouts back a bit, and I'm like, no. Just don't do it. I know you're annoyed and that was bad, but I'm like, what can possibly... They're clearly Larry kids. What good can possibly come from this?
Yeah.
We shout back at them, they shout back at us. An altercation occurs. I'm not there to teach these kids a lesson.
Yeah.
I'm
and
there
also,
to get on with my day.
It will go on you when it comes to fisticuffs.
Exactly. No, and yeah, well, part of that is like, oh, you're not going to defend your lady's honour. I think I am defending her honour by getting us swiftly to our destination.
That is it. That's defending her
Modern
honour.
chivalry.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts on it.
Yeah. Well, I think with the getting involved, I do feel we're probably at a more lethargic age. I do think there's something that what happens to a guy when you become of a certain age, maybe when you have kids, where you start feeling like a custodian of society.
Protective daddy bear.
Yeah, so you
custodian of society, that's
so
good. Not necessarily you or the group of people, but like, well, what are we becoming?
Yeah, that's kind of... Because right now, we're
not in charge.
We're not in charge. When
we're a bit older.
We're entering into the main character period.
Yeah.
Which I guess is sort of like around your 30s.
30 to 60 is probably like when you're...
But I'm saying 50-year-olds might be the hilarious, the most likely to shout at. Maybe that's 100%. It's like a 50-year-old.
Agreed.
It's like our friends' dads from school. I can see them shouting at kids. So
I've
regularly.
been there.
Yeah, they're a shouty bunch. So I think it will come round. I don't know if I would class that as heroism, as broken out the lethargy, because I don't think for them it's lethargy. I think they're
they believe. Yeah,
they're like, try me. Punk.
I like custodians of society. I don't feel like I'm a custodian of society.
No, you don't feel like a responsibility.
As I said, it's not my job to teach these kids a lesson.
And also, I think maybe part of it's like we're renting, so we're not part of the social contract in the same way.
It's true.
Like if you own somewhere, then it's suddenly like
we're not at this
feels
point,
like they're doing it in your house because you own things.
Not in my neighbourhood.
Yeah, but then with us, it's like
we've got no neighbourhood pride.
Exactly, it's like
people. I was excited when someone. I was excited when someone drove a car into our neighbour's house. I was worried about the neighbours briefly, but I was excited that the car. I was like, this is sick.
Yeah.
Whereas people who own houses here are like, this is a problem. I'm like, this is great.
Well, so now with the rent generation, or as I call them, generation rent. Do you think that
you have been doing that for a while, haven't you?
Do you think that we're gonna not hit that same level of dad shouting at young people because there's gonna be so many renters that we won't have the same sort of social contract type thing?
As long as we can eventually get a house, then maybe it will just happen when we're like 80 instead of 50.
That's when it comes in. We start wearing polarized sunglasses and cargo shorts, bald, shouting at our wives in public as well.
Everything's just delayed a bit because life expectancy will go up a little bit.
You'd hope. Well, it's not. I think it's going down now.
No, it's not.
Yeah, apparently, but for the first time, because it was
something will happen.
It's because everything's going to shit. So
something will happen.
They will come back again.
Something will happen. It's that new cancer.
Yeah, they'll find
something will happen.
They're going to get.
They'll stop cancer fair in 20 years, I reckon.
Well, there's this conspiracy theory that they've
already got it,
and it's just because there's so much money.
Population size as well. Could be a darker one. Could be Illuminati.
What's your view on population size? Because I don't
know much. I don't really know anything about it.
Because I remember that was like my big thing when I was a teenager.
It was a little bit Nazi.
Yeah. Well, I just it feels like
it was a little bit Nazi.
All the problems are population, but now I've changed my mind. It's like we need loads of people.
Why?
Because it'll collapse. Otherwise, we'll just have loads of old people and no young people, and that will ruin everything.
Old people and no young people.
Yeah, you have
because of the aging population. Yeah. But surely,
like Japan's fucked now. And that's just a microcosm.
No, but there is big problems in terms, like climate change and depleting Earth's resources.
But then you have to work out what's a bigger issue.
Climate change. The bigger than what?
Well, I don't know if we can societally support like loads of old people and barely any young people. It doesn't. The maths ain't mathing.
Well, it would only be for a bit, wouldn't it? And then it would equalise once the old people have, because you'd have to
You'd think so, right? That makes sense.
Yeah, because you'd have to stop birthing as much, and then eventually the older people will die, and then it will equal out. So there'll be a period. It will be a bleak period.
Yeah.
That when no one can give birth, and we're all just getting older, and we're just waiting for them to die.
Well, and
we'd probably be those old people.
Yeah, we would be. The whole country would be an old people's home.
Just imagine it would just be like everyone just waiting, looking at us, being like.
Well, so we have to wait for all of us to die, and then we can start.
It's simple maths,
and we go back to
it's simple Nazi maths. How you do it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, I think it's a big problem, isn't it? But I don't know. There's no way to.
But people are coming back now and saying,
"Yeah, I know."
Like Elon Musk is very pro-population.
I don't really, but but he also believes that we will just come up with a scientific way to solve climate change. Well, if those two things are true, then fine.
Well, no, the Elon Musk defense, which is
but also income inequality is
weirdly
ridiculous.
The only sort of valid debate against climate change is sort of Elon Musk might come up with something.
That's not a debate against climate change.
No, for doing nothing about it. That's sort of the only valid one I can see.
Yeah,
is like maybe,
and it isn't really valid.
It's not. If it starts with
maybe,
the most valid one I can think of is that.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe someone can, because I guess it would.
In your mind, is it always a big Hoover in the sky?
Yeah,
because it is for me. It's a big sky Hoover.
It would be so good. Now, if we solved climate change, so it would, I think. Progressives really struggle if Elon Musk came up with something that solved climate change, because it would be I guess it'd be kind of embarrassing.
Yeah, the whole Twitter scandal.
Yeah, but it would just be embarrassing for like Greta Thunberg. I feel as much as I believe that she wants to save the planet. It's sort of her whole. You
get this Twitter troll doing it.
Well, because he's actually doing it.
Yeah,
but also what's her shtick now?
Oh no, she would be awful.
Yeah, and then she's gonna.
Well,
be
no, but
like,
that's
say,
the kind
Yeah,
of.
but we got, and then she'd be moving.
Well,
it
that's
to,
kind of the dark joke about any activist is that the last thing they want is for their problems to be solved because then they're insignificant. Because there's a truth to anyone who believes in a political cause a bit too much.
Yeah.
I don't believe anyone that believes too much into something.
Yeah.
Who makes it their identity.
I guess the only exception to that is like people who are like trying to like cut off the king's head and become the new people.
I haven't seen too many people nowadays who are trying to cut off the king's head and become the new people.
Well, like communists, hardcore communists, because then you have a goal which is to be in control.
Yeah, but they wouldn't like the power.
They wouldn't like it.
They panic. Anyone that has...
Well, they'd panic.
Yeah, there's different kinds of panic. I think anyone that makes something a cause their personality is a bit disingenuous.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see really principled people having to make the kind of tough decisions a leader has to make. Like,
but
even
imagine
like geopolitical
the hippies.
stuff. Like,
imagine the hippies of climate change.
Now, okay, well, you're in charge, and then what's happening in like Yemen and stuff.
But they wouldn't really want to be in charge. They would say that hippies is because
hippies would be like, there's no one in charge.
We're all in charge of ourselves and everyone is connected. But they wouldn't know. But hippies aren't like something like a climate change, a barefooted yogi who is, a
tofu eating,
karate, shits in the garden. But like those, everything is about climate change. That's their entire personality. Yeah. Like if Elon Musk then made the Sky Hoover that we've all been waiting for, they would be, what do you do after that?
Yeah.
So someone came and be like, oh, everything you've done in campaign for
we saw that.
TikTok videos. You don't need to do that anymore.
No,
there's a Hoover in the sky so you can live in comfort.
Yeah. So it's like the Teletubbies Hoover.
Yeah. It's that guy. Also, the Teletubby, the train thing at the bottom. And then and it's just there. It's just the Sky Hoover.
Yeah. All of that stuff.
No, but there's definitely people that have too much of a cause I'd never believe. There's a little bit of disingenuousness. One, because they clearly can't accept nuance into life.
Yeah.
Because there's almost no argument in the world that can't have a little bit of nuance.
Yeah. But then
I'm waiting for you to say something that would be fair.
No, it's good. But I guess
genocide might be an exception.
What you need is them as like the kind of insane bulldog vanguards. They're sort of like cave trolls that you'd send, or like they're like kind of war elephants you'd use. Do you know what I mean? Like
in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings or something else. Yeah.
They sort of, you need them for a cause to see nothing but like a strong belief.
Yeah.
And you sort of say, you can be at the back. You're back with the archers. You've got nuance. You're like, well,
yeah, we're discussing. Well, I suppose this is some idea. Whilst they're clearing. Yeah.
So that's how I viewed principled people: is they can be effective. But
of course.
But then
it does.
They are
naturally,
wrong.
It depends what the principle is, doesn't it? But I mean, in our modern world, where there's nothing that's overtly like that is definitely what needs to happen. It's not like a World War II situation where obviously principles are a good thing. I'm not like saying, wow, Winston Churchill doing World War II.
It would be so good for us to have something sort of like World War II where we could all be like...
It would be really
good. So nice because we haven't had any...
bandy behind.
When have we... What was the last thing like that?
Well, climate change could be the thing. But it's too
like 5p plastic bags were kind of even people got pissed off with that.
The problem is climate change is too ethereal, it's too abstract, and it's us sacrificing things about our lives without seeing a genuine change.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
And
it's not like it's not killing Nazis. No. We're going out there, as you say, paying for plastic bags and shitting in the garden.
You've been doing that as well?
Yeah.
For climate change?
Our garden is disgraceful. There's no compost there. It's just a pavement. It's patio with a heater.
It's for the climate change. But I guess you'd want... It'd probably be better for climate change.
My room looks on into the garden as well. It's some interesting sights I see in the morning of you just in your dressing gown with a coffee, having a squat. Anyway, it's always back to poo. We could be having such an interesting conversation. Always back to poo.
I guess you'd want Hitler to be the cause of climate change. Like he's sort of like part of his manifesto is to change the climate.
Yeah, make it difficult, but not it doesn't have to be World War II.
So there's
but if we as a human, well, like alien,
you need a dude.
an alien Alien could work.
Alien will be the next big thing where we bandy together.
Exactly.
Right?
An alien invasion that's manageable, because in likelihood, any alien invasion, we're fucked.
That's the only way I can see us doing those things, humanity in harmony, where we
when you cut out those humans in paper.
And it's like there's not one race next to each other. It has to be split up perfectly. So it's like black, white, Asian, just and we start singing.
Up and go like, oh, and it just repels.
Forever,
and the strength of our unity repels the alien invasion. Yeah. Agreed.
That's the only way that we can get some. But I would love, it's all so confusing now.
It is.
There's no
Yeah.
And even at uni we had baddies. But then that was kind of
Who were the baddies?
Well, just kind of vaguely capitalism,
Yeah.
And there was sort of
well, it was in a more
the Tory,
It was in a the Tory. Yeah, it's in a slightly more simplistic time, isn't it?
Yeah.
When nuance doesn't really exist as much.
It's not as fun.
But there's not. But yeah, I mean, that's what it's a good thing to take from uni is the nuance of just believing in the society as it is. Because there's really good stuff that I still believe in. But I think being pig-headed, and I think it is pig-headed, saying this is how it has to be. And saying this is definitely right. I'm like, that's what someone said a while ago, and now that's what happened here, and that's not definitely right.
But I guess what you want is them in you want to sort of put them in a fucking a box and let them.
Yeah, you need those people.
Yeah, so you need people
it's a
like
bit
that.
like Fidel Castro.
And they come out,
Yeah.
And then they can chill out a bit, but you kind of want that as a little idea haven.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Yeah.
It's like Castro's a good example.
Yeah.
Being an incredible leader, unbelievable, inspires people, great, principles of kind of changing the face of a country and many people's ideas at that time, but he couldn't really do it when he got there.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's a lot of. But he had this personality. I'm just reading about it now. Yeah. This isn't a coincidence.
Yeah.
He had this big personality that was perfect for being a revolutionary. Yeah, Fidel Castro. Yeah, yeah, quite a big personality.
He was a
actually.
character.
Yeah. That's what I was looking for. Fuck you. Fuck you. But yeah, the difference in being someone that can, inspire a revolution to the guy who's can, sit down and do the spreadsheets of what it is to rule are two entirely different things.
Yeah, and then you had that in the Russian Revolution. You sort of had Vladimir Lenin got it over the line, but then it fucked up because Stalin then came in after all of that, and then was just like,
this kind of vampire. You kind of imagine him. Vladimir Lenin's just won the revolution,
no, he is dead.
And he comes into this office, and there's just Stalin there playing an organ, going with a massive collar, going
Well, because Cuba's an interesting one because they have really good healthcare, the best in.
You mean now?
Now,
yeah.
But there's only one fruit on the shelves.
There's only one fruit on the shelf.
There's only if you go to a shop in Cuba, they've got 5 things.
I'd love to hear that in an economic forum, being Cuba is leading the world in healthcare in terms of per capita and for the society, but there's only one fruit on the shelves. Have you guys not heard? There's only one fruit on the shelves in Cuba. We need more fruit on the shelves. Yeah. What? No.
So that's kind of you can't have pros and cons. It's great healthcare, but you go to the shop.
Because of a kind of
5 things.
Vaguely communist. There's a lot of taxes flowing through the state, but there's not enough. Well, that's a perfect example.
Exactly.
It's a perfect example of nuance, isn't it?
Yeah.
Perfect example of you need a strong state in some way so you can give people good healthcare, but you also need some private enterprise so people can eat.
Or just have a diversity because you don't want to have. That's the thing. In communism, used to just have one pair of trousers.
Yeah.
So you'd go to the trouser store and you just get the trousers.
Yeah.
That would kind of suck.
But couldn't you everyone could have spray paint and they could then do their own trousers?
Speaking of communism, while we're on the topic, do you know much about the Great Leap Forward?
It rings a bell, but
Mao's had a policy.
I'm shit on Mao. I'm shit on Mao in China.
Mao had this policy, and he had this big idea, and it's not funny because it's a travesty, but there is something funny about it.
You find it. Translation is Patreon. Translation to the views of Croatia finds it hilarious.
Well, this is a perfect example. Mao, who great revolutionary leader.
Yeah.
Did the great long walk to freedom.
It's kind of as much as I know about him. I'm shit.
But then once he was in, made some of maybe the most catastrophic fuck ups ever made, potentially policy wise.
Right.
So he had this policy called the Great Leap Forward, which was going to be basically renationalise grain. It was very similar.
Bold policy name. Yeah. You don't get that anymore, do you?
It killed the famines caused by it killed 40 million people.
Right.
So that's, I think, almost as much as was killed in World War II.
He didn't say what they were leaping for with the wars.
And what is funny is calling it the Great Leap Forward.
And then killing 40 million.
And that really wasn't at all the plan. Like, that was a...
Was that not the plan at all?
So,
It'll be great him coming out trying to do a PR thing. They're booing him and being like, hold on. Hold on. We did never specify what the Great Leap Forward was.
So it was quite tricky because with a dictatorship, it's hard to get someone out of power. But then the people around him were kind of like, we probably need to get rid of this guy because that is the biggest policy fuck up of all time. It's just
name.
calling it the Great.
The name.
The Great.
Do you reckon? Because I was saying you don't.
40 million people starved to death.
It's a
Great Leap Forward.
It's a great cut too, isn't it? But you can't really. You can't. I was going to say you don't really get policy names like that anymore. It's
No.
like the most ambitious one we've had recently probably is
Levelling Up.
And that's saying, I guess we'll bring you guys up a bit. Yeah. No, it's not the Great Leap Forward.
They stopped
and
after
it's,
that.
it's managing expectations.
Yeah,
because
that's
even
it.
levelling up, it's like, you're not really doing that. The Great Imagine...
It's hard to manage expectations with the results of the Great Leap Forward because it's hard to set the bar low enough.
Yeah.
Then it's like, well, what do you expect?
The problem is because anyone that hears the Great Leap Forward, it's different for them. It's like what they'd imagine society's Great Leap Forward would be. The problem with that is you'd have to find a pretty sadistic person for their Great Leap Forward to be 40 million dead.
It's saying we're hoping for like around 40 million people to die. That's going to be like the effect around that.
Yeah, 45. Oh, only 40.
Yeah,
That's
do 40
a leap forward.
Do 45.
Like yeah, that's a pretty big leap forward.
Yeah, I think that'll do.
Yeah.
Do you want to give the pigs 5 more minutes?
We'll give them 5 more minutes.
Yeah.
Should we do Fritzl? I feel like it's
Oh
relevant.
yeah, so you haven't seen this?
I think we should do Fritzl, or maybe we shouldn't do Fritzl.
No,
let's do
Fritzl.
Fritzl.
Let's
We
do
do
Fritzl.
Fritzl or Derek.
Let's do both. They're quick.
Are they? I don't think they're...
This is a Daily Mirror thing.
Put it in.
From prison after it was ruled
From the
he was
top,
no
from the
longer
top,
a
people didn't hear
danger.
that.
Joseph Fritzl could soon be released from prison after it was ruled he was no longer a danger to the public. The 88-year-old depraved monster was jailed in 2009 for keeping his daughter locked in a cellar for 24 years. Under the terms of his sentence, Fritzl will be eligible for parole this year, but
Look
a
at that
recent
hair. I'll put him in
psychiatrist
prison for that
report
hair.
claimed he is no longer dangerous.
Looks like a Powerpuff Girl.
Fritzl's lawyer says they are in the process of obtaining a discharge for him,
Pause.
which, if approved, would likely
Imagine being Fritzl's lawyer. Play.
mean he has moved to a home for frail people. Joseph...
Oh, okay. Well, it's a Daily Mirror just fucked it. I think he's moving to a special prison for.
No. Like a care home. Out of prison.
Oh, I see.
Out of prison. No.
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 I think
I'm not. I'm a very...
I'm not like a Old Testament.
I think
Punisher.
we're both very like reform, don't punish.
But you can't.
You can't let that monster out. Kill him. To be honest, I wouldn't. I think he's death penalty.
If I was going to do death penalty, it would be him.
It'll be Fritzl.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it was like, well, is he... Well, an interesting question is, his crime captured the imagination of horror.
Sorry, you made him sound like,
He
he's David
inspires
Bowie.
me. Yeah. Obviously, he's a genius. He's a kind of prophet in the locking up your
Inspired a
daughter's
generation of
Yeah,
artists.
just like, how did he keep it down there for so long? No, he is obviously... His crimes captured the imagination, but in terms of the utilitarian view of horror...
Yeah, it's Dad Core gone bad.
It's
is
not
how I
Anders
describe it.
Breivik. It's not. He isn't like a serial killer. He's not murdering the lives of multiple.
Yeah, as bad guys, he looked inwards as opposed to outwards.
He thought-
Anders Breivik, it was an outward.
His is about how much horror can I cause an individual, whereas Breivik is like how many I'm going to kill. Murdering is a lot less horrific than what he did, what Fritzl did to his daughter, I would argue. I think...
But then you have
I would
the-
1,000% prefer to be killed than that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. So, just to check.
Yeah.
1,000%. Kill me immediately. Kill me immediately. So, like, what's weird is that, like, because he's inflicted that level of unimaginable horror on one individual. Is that worse?
No, there was 6 of them, 7 of them. There was all the kids.
Because of the kids.
Yeah.
I know the kids, yeah, that's true. But, like, but then it's kind of...
So you do we can do the utilitarian thing where you count it up.
Yeah, and that's Breivik. Breivik is so much worse.
Yeah, but then you're like, and this is
Well,
what
other
we were
people,
talking about the Fritzl Hitler thing.
Unabomber? I don't
The
know.
Hitler thing, which is like Fritzl trying to be the worst Austrian.
Yeah.
But the thing is that he he did what he could with what he had.
Yeah.
He's like a working class
Oh,
hero.
he's a self-made man.
Yeah, like Hitler had all the party machinery. He had.
Well, he had an unmistakable charisma.
Well, it's more like he had all the keys, so he could. I'll just do all of this, and people would do it.
Yeah.
Fritzl might have done worse than Hitler if he had that opportunity.
All he had
was a shovel and a dream.
Basement and a kid. Damn, shovel and a dream. Fuck you.
No, it was a joke from First Internet.
Oh,
so
is
we've
it?
already tagged it to death.
No, fair enough. Yeah, a shovel and a dream. Yeah. No, but I don't think. But it's interesting thinking about that. Yeah, because although it's proportional horror.
Yeah.
Because what he did was kind of the worst thing I've ever heard.
Probably, the worst thing still sticks with me is the worst thing I've ever heard.
What was kind of great?
But it's also he's like. I know this is bad to say, but he's kind of like our guy. Do you know what I mean? Like there's like every generation you have a fella doing this.
I agree.
And like Fritzl's because they talk
I
about
remember
Fred,
hearing about it.
Yeah, like they talk about Fred West and stuff, but I don't connect with that. Fred West is pretty. Is
I know
bad.
Fred West, but there's another West.
But it's
Ollie
like this is what our parents talk about. But it's
Ollie,
like
you'll know what I mean.
Fritzl's our.
What's the other West? Fritzl is our guy. Who's the other West? There's Fred West and there's
his wife.
Yeah. Sorry,
Marie West. No.
Rose West.
Rose West. Fred and Rose West. And there's an amazing audio clip of Fred West when he's being questioned by the police, where he panics and then he just starts to try and blame it all on Rose.
That's fun.
It just says it was all. He was just like, and he keeps acting like he had no idea what was going on, and it was all just Rose West.
That's
just,
funny.
Just completely sold down the river.
He is our guy.
Awesome.
He is definitely our guy.
Yeah, Fritz is our.
He is our guy. What was interesting because there are bits in Elle. Elle has knowledge gaps because she grew up in rural France.
I see.
So there is this film.
She grew up in Fritzl's room.
Elle has knowledge gaps because she went through a pretty serious thing. You know, Larry Lamb. There's
huge black spots in
there's a much darker B story to Gavin and Stacey, but mixed basement. But so what she has some gaps because she was like living in rural Normandy where she'd watch DVDs instead of see the news kind of thing. Yeah. So there's this film that came out. There's a film about Fritzl.
Room.
Yeah,
well, it's inspired.
I know it's inspired, but
he inspired many great artists. Fritzl, a generation of artists.
Exactly. Yeah. So we would. I think I was kind of talking about that film, and it became clear that she hadn't heard of Fritzl.
That's a good Wikipedia. That's a great Wikipedia search. If you don't know about it,
no, it was great to be the Wikipedia to explain it to her. I was like, oh. So there was this guy, and then explained it, and she was like, "Fuck!" And then I was like, "You're gonna freak out. This is horrible." Because she, women.
Yeah.
So she was, and then at the end, she was like, "Oh, that's horrible." I was like, she didn't react as much, and she was. I was like, that's the film, but that's what happened. And she was freaked out.
Oh, she did.
It was. I was. You always remember when you tell someone about their first Fritzl.
Yeah. I remember my first Fritzl. I remember checking out and then did a lot of research on it. You can't believe it.
I remember what's weird. The weird thing about the mind is I don't remember where I was, but I remember picturing it. I remember the first image I had, and I can remember the police tape outside of his house.
Yeah.
And then hearing about it, and I remember what I imagined it would be like, and also, I can always see that image.
Also, so the wife's defense is she didn't know what was going on.
Well, apparently not,
and she's not in prison.
Well, that film addresses that because it's
what
like.
Did they say in Room?
I didn't watch it. I just watched this clip on TikTok. I watched quite a lot of it on TikTok. You know that you can watch films on TikTok.
And to be honest, Room's a film that I'd kind of only want to watch in bite-sized. There's a lot of films that I
correct. Yeah, it's trash films.
Basically, trashy. Not
horror films
with
good concepts.
With good concepts, but done badly.
Yeah,
you just want to see. Yeah. Skip to the bit.
I watch quite a lot of those on TikTok because I'm never going to watch it. No. I'm kind of interested.
Yeah.
So, no, I agree that it seems nonsense that, of course, the wife would know.
Yeah.
But then, maybe she didn't. It wasn't like you go downstairs and there was like a Perspex door.
Yeah, but when he's got a locked door.
No, but it was like a door within like fake walls. I think he was good with
that's the
tools.
question you asked though. You don't. That's when you stop being suspicious. But when he has an airlock to his man cave. Well, the problem with the Fritzl thing,
a hidden door
thing is it does is sort of like
she was probably like
it's a dark turn on a lot of dad qualities. Do you know what I mean? It's do you know what I mean? Like
to put it mildly.
But it has a lot of the elements of the kind of always working.
It's got your classic dad narrative.
Yeah. He's got his basement.
Custodian
he's got
of society,
shouting
at kids on the tube. Instead of shouting kids on the tube, Yeah, DIY.
He spends a lot of time in like home base, I imagine.
Yeah.
You know, he's handy.
It's a little bit survivalistic.
He needs his own space, like a
He
man's
needs
cave.
control over his dominion, over
Yeah.
his children. You know, he's getting pissed off that the child is, you know, outgrowing him, and so then he overcompensates
a
by
coming of age
locking
story.
her in the basement and impregnating her with 4 children.
Yes. Yeah, not a good guy.
That's what we're going to end with, is it? Not a good guy. Fritzl, not a good guy.
We'll see you next week. Thanks very much.
Let that stick with you.